Hi everybody, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Kaylee, and today we are going to be talking about how we met, and we're going to answer some questions that you all sent to us last week.
Let's do it. So, we're going to start out with the biggest question we get asked. How did we meet? I'm going to let Kaylee explain this because she can do it better than I can.
I went to Murray State University for college, and while I was there during my sophomore year, which is the second year, two of my best friends and I decided to study abroad. We actually looked at going to France first, but it just didn't match up with our programs and the classes that we needed to take, so we decided to go to Scotland. So while we were studying abroad in Scotland, a lot of the girls that we were staying with decided to download dating apps to talk to some Scottish men. I didn't really have a interest in going out on a date because I just didn't see it going anywhere if I did. So I just downloaded it to talk to people. A few weeks later, Jordan and I matched. We talked every single day after we matched, but a few weeks after we matched and talked every day, I had to go home. My feelings definitely started first. Do you agree?
Yes.
He didn't like me.
You were living here.
Yeah. I think Jordan actually had a more realistic viewing of what our relationship would become. I was hopeful that we could actually make it work. Texting every day turned into calling every day, and calling every day turned into Skyping every day. He finally came around and started liking me, I think. And we started talking in April, and by November I knew that I wanted to meet him. I booked the flights. I think some of my friends and family probably thought I was crazy because I was going to Scotland all by myself to meet him. At the end of May, I traveled over there and met him in person. And
here we are.
Yeah.
So after the first time of meeting, we traveled back and forward a few more times.
Quite a lot, actually.
Quite a lot, yeah.
I came over to see you 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and I came over about 3. And on the 3rd time, I asked her to marry me, and now I live here with her.
And we've been going through the visa process and the green card process ever since then. It's still not over. We're still waiting for his green card, but we are getting close to being finished with all of that.
So now we're ready to answer some of the questions you sent to us.
This one is, what were your first impressions of each other?
We met at the airport for the first time.
Yes.
And I couldn't find her at first, so I phoned her, and she came and found me, and I saw her for the first time, and it sounds a bit cheesy, but I fell more in love with her. She was very beautiful, and you just know. When you know, you know. And it's been that way ever since.
I was very, very, very nervous.
So was I, actually. I forgot to put that in there, so was I.
I mean, we had video called or Skyped, whatever you want to say, every single day, but it's definitely not the same meeting someone in person for the first time. And also, meeting the person that you really like and love at this point. I already loved him at this point, even though we hadn't met in person. After being on 3 flights, it's not very, it doesn't help your confidence any. So I actually went into the airport's bathroom, brushed my hair, wiped my old makeup off, put new makeup on, put deodorant on, sprayed some perfume, lint rolled my clothes so my hair wasn't all over the place. I was so nervous. So I just went into the bathroom and tried to make myself as decent as possible. And like he said, he couldn't find me. So we called each other, and I actually saw him first because he was standing like facing away from me.
I was facing the kiosks. So we met at Edinburgh Airport, and we met under the big clock. Most people have been there, they'll know where that is. It's where we met for the first time.
So my first impression was, oh my gosh, it's actually him. I will say, I was like, oh my gosh, he's also shorter than me, which I already knew. Like we already talked about our heights, but when we first hugged, of course there was a difference. But
It's not that big of a difference, but it's a little bit.
I still love him.
Oh, and I love you too.
So I guess my first impression was just masked over by lots of nerves, but I was like, I love this man. This is gonna be the best vacation ever. We're gonna have a good time, and I can't wait to just get to know him more in person.
Yep, and I felt the exact same way. And all the times that we met after that, we were still really nervous, and it's just the way it is, really. I mean,
I think it's just because
you go long periods of time talking on the phone, and then you meet again in person.
Yeah, it's just different. Like spending, because I think a lot of people don't know that between times of seeing each other, it was months. It wasn't just a few days or a few weeks. Like there were a couple of times where it was like half a year before we saw each other again.
6 months in between, so it takes a little bit of time to get used to each other after speaking on the phone.
All right, the next question is a bit easier for you, Jordan. Someone asked, what is your favorite restaurant in Morgantown?
It's not really a hard choice, I'll be honest there. It's between two places. And I feel like you're the exact same. It's between a little family-run place called Farm Boy, which is great, and a Mexican restaurant called Garcia's.
Yes.
And I both recommend them to everyone.
And for those of you that have never been to Morgantown, there's not many options. So that was probably the easiest question he'll get today.
Thank you for that question anyway. It's good.
How do you like the Kentucky weather and heat?
It's so hot. In the summer, it's incredibly hot. And then in the winter, it's very, very, very cold. So it gets warmer than Scotland and it gets colder than Scotland at the same time.
Yeah.
And their weather is kind of all over the place too. One day it can be really sunny, the next day it can be thunder and rain. So I really do enjoy it. Not the heat so much, but I enjoy it.
What is your favorite city that you have visited in the United States so far?
It's a tough one because both of them have really good memories. So it's either St. Louis, which is in Missouri. I'm sure most of you know that. We went to a baseball game there, saw 2 home runs, went on the Arch. Very beautiful city.
Yeah, and we went to the zoo.
We went to the zoo, which almost melted my shoes off. It was so hot. And
St. Louis is just a good weekend trip, especially if you live around where we do. It's only like 4 hours to get there, so it was a nice like 2 or 3 day trip.
I recommend it to everybody. And the other one would be Nashville. Lots of country music there. It's like the Los Angeles of the South, really. We went to a hockey game, saw the Opry, and it's just a really good feel-good city. Everyone's really nice. I'd go for Nashville on that one. We've got more memories there, so I'd go for Nashville.
Okay, here's one for both of us. What are our favorite towns in Scotland? My favorite place would be a city, and it's Edinburgh. And I know that's a very cliche answer because it's the capital and it's very touristy, but I studied abroad right outside of there, and I just love that city. Like, it's just my favorite. It has loads of history, loads of architecture, loads of things to do, loads of good food. It's just beautiful.
And lots of good memories.
Yeah.
Which is why that's my favorite as well.
Yeah.
So.
But for favorites, like smaller place, I'd probably say St. Andrews.
Yeah, St. Andrews, same for me. It's very pretty. University town. Home of golf.
Close to where he lives.
Yep.
So.
And I would have to say my hometown as well. I have a soft spot for that. Very beautiful, very small. Lots of nice people. So for most of you that don't know, my hometown is a very small place called St. Monans. It's on the east coast of Scotland. It's on the Forth. And it's a fishing village, so lots of people mainly work around fish.
His hometown is very beautiful. It's very quaint, and we'll try to put some pictures in for you to see.
Yeah.
What are your favorite things about each other's home country?
The freedom. My favorite things about America, there's a few. The food obviously being one of them, because how could you not like the food? Although I have gained a few pounds since I've been here, so it's kind of losing favor a little bit. The weather, probably, and the fact that I get to be with you every single day.
Good answer. My favorite thing about Scotland is probably the history. I just love the architecture. Like, I just love that you can just be walking down the street and most of the buildings that you see there are older than every building in America. The history and the architecture. So the next question is, would you guys ever consider relocating to Scotland at some point in your lives? My mom would say absolutely not. This was definitely a discussion we had to have when we first started realizing that we did want to pursue a relationship together. We both decided that we did want to live here. I just have a really big family and I'm very family oriented. Not that he's not.
No, but that was mainly
But that was the main reason.
If we ever had the money in the future, we would like to buy a holiday home, or a vacation home as they call it here, in Scotland somewhere, and just go back for the summers and just do lots of fun stuff.
Yeah. The last question is, what was Jordan's first thought on being in the United States?
Well, my first trip over here, I got here and I was immediately kind of disappointed. It's a long story. Not because of the country itself, because of the airport I was in. I won't say where it was, but we had a delay, didn't we?
Yeah, he was stuck in the first American airport for like 8 or 9 hours. So that wasn't the best first impression, I think, of America for him.
But on the upside, I saw the most snow I've ever seen in my entire life. The story is, we had a delay. We had to wait for other pilots to get in. We waited for them, got on the plane, everybody was happy. Woohoo, we're on the plane. And then we have to get back off the plane because the pilots have overdone their hours. So we had another 4-hour wait after that. And everybody was mad. And so was I. But I got here in the end and we had Chick-fil-A, not an ad. I've loved it ever since, really. I just love America. There's nothing to hate about this country.
All right, guys, so that's all the questions we're gonna do today.
And if you have any more questions, we can happily do a part 2 to this.
Also, we wanna let you know that we have started a YouTube channel to put our videos on. So if you would like to subscribe, just look up The McMullins on YouTube and give us a follow.
We can't wait to do more videos for you. It's gonna be good fun.
Thank you all for watching and we will see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.